We'll wait here just for a second, see who ends up coming in here. But overall, welcome everybody. If you are a part of the YouTube, if you're watching from YouTube, welcome. And if you're of course on stream, welcome to the stream chat. So we're gonna wait here just for a second for more people to come in. But while we're waiting for more people to come in, we're going to be looking at just overall the notes that we have so far. We are 1 day off being halfway through all 16 teams. We've gone over Team Liquid, we've gone over G2 Esports, we've gone over Team Falcons, Crew Esports, Pioneers, Dignitas, and today we are going over G1. We've already gone over, of course, G2 Esports. Now we're going to be going over their European counterparts in G1. So this should be a really fun day today, honestly. And honestly, I'm gonna match it up just because it'll look nice that way. There we go. It's all matched up and clean now. Atomic Dorito marked by 8. Looking at this team, they've done all right, to be honest. If we look at the complete list of tournaments, they've played, of course, since their first was the top 16 qualifier, where they ended up losing to Oxygen. Did they get knocked out in the top 16 qualifier? Is that what it is? No. Okay, so they went 3-1, only losing to Oxygen. Oxygen ended up winning the first regional. Really solid. Oh, this is just so this is all in the individual matches. They beat Tundra, lost to BDS. I mean, overall, if we look at just the Fall Open, they actually didn't have the worst of openings. They only lost BDS and Carmine Core, which a lot of people at the time, BDS got actually Fall Open. Moist and BDS were at the top. I mean, this looked like just spring split all over again for EU. Then we go down to the top 8, and BDS lost a Quadrant in Game 7, and BDS haven't been the same since. G1, yeah, G1 just lost to the regional winners in Regional 1 in Fall Cup. And then here, they ended up losing... Oh, they ended up getting knocked out. They got knocked out by... Okay, so here's the EU inconsistency here. Aogiri ended up beating them. And outside Aogiri, though, who'd they lose to? Let's see. They lost to... Oh, they got reversed up. They beat Carmine Core. Beat Monkeys, but then they lost to Quadrant, EG, and Aogiri. So, yeah, G1, a little bit of inconsistency. Fall Invitational. They only lost to Vitality in there, and then they ended up getting... They got a top 4, but they ended up not making the grand. So G1, they've honestly been... They had the one bad result in Regional 2, but honestly, they could have made it. They could have made it in the spring. They could have made it in the fall split, honestly. And now if we look at the winter split for Europe, Winter Regional 1, they ended up going... They made top 8, only losing. They only lost to Carmine Core again, losing to the regional winners. And then Winter Cup, they ended up losing to. Well, they lost to SA, which again we're seeing a little bit of that EU inconsistency in G1. They should never be losing to a team like SA. But then they moved on and they ended up losing to Vitality, and Vitality. And they get knocked out in top 8. So again, not a horrible result. Very similar to the Winter Cup and Fall Split. But Winter Invitational, they did end up sweeping the group and only lost to... They only lost to the regional winners. Again, like every single time G1, I pretty much lose to the regional winners. That's something to keep in mind. But even just looking at this, I mean, just looking at who they lose to, they tend to be very inconsistent. But it looks like they've been improving their consistency since Fall Split. They were able to make their first major, so honestly, G1, if they keep improving like this, could be towards the top of EU. Although we do have to remember, I mean, at the end of the day, G1 here, they didn't have the hardest group. BDS haven't looked good, Moist haven't looked good, Tundra haven't looked good, all winter split. They didn't have the hardest group compared to a team like Liquid, who had Vitality in their group. Carmine Core didn't have a hard of a group either, but for example, look at Group D. We got Sonics, Quadrant, and Oxygen, all top 8 teams, so... Honestly, interesting to see that G1, at least when G1 have an easy group, they tend to win it. But if they have a hard group, they almost win it. It's very interesting. But here we go. Let's make sure the replay files are here. We're going to be looking at a group stage match first. Honestly, I think it'd be fun to watch them against BDS. BDS at least used to be known for their for their very unique rotations. So we should probably look at game 1, G1 versus BDS. That's Group B, okay. Group B, round 1. G1 versus BDS. We're going to get a good grasp on the stats for G1 here. Players, let's see. We normally want to see the demos inflicted be at minimum equal demos taken. So we see, at least for demos inflicted, marked by 8. So marked by 8, great on the demo side of things. And then Dorito, equal on demos, that's fine. And then, ooh, Atomic, actually, really bad at going for demos and took a lot of demos. So that's something that we can be on the lookout for when we look at the first game. Looking at average boost, of course, all three. Okay, so Atomic, the only one with actually a good amount of boost. But let's look at the big boost. Marked by 8, Atomic, Dorito. Looking at small pads, Dorito. Yeah, so it looks like boost might be a big problem for G1. Now, it could be a problem. Doesn't mean there is a problem. Speed-wise, Dorito, marked by 8, and Atomic top. And honestly, this is a very slow lobby. At least at the professional level, this is really slow. And looking at the ground stat, normally the players that think the most are the best. Although Mark Bait, it could be a little bit of hesitation from Mark Bait sometimes if he's on the ground this much, or it could mean he's just a really solid player. Because normally the higher the ground stat, the more a player thinks about when they're supposed to go, which means it's normally a good thing. But some players do hesitate. But honestly, it looks like this entire lobby, only Atomic is actually pretty jumpy, so looks pretty solid. But everyone, just like we talked about before, YouTube, if you want, you can skip ahead to when we do the actual analysis, because I've gone over it many times. But for everyone new to the stream or new to the YouTube, whenever we analyze pro gameplay, we have two things that we have to make sure high-level teams accomplish. One is how a high-level team accomplishes possession, and one is how a professional team accomplishes covering the 3 necessary areas of the field. All right. So what is possession? What kind of possession are we going to be looking for? Well, at its basic principle, possession is, of course, keeping the ball in a spot where you or a teammate can follow it and continue to maintain possession, right? Continue to have the ball with us in our control. And in order to score a goal in Rocket League, we physically need the ball in order to score. So logically, there's no sense to ever give away the ball just to try and get it back if you need to score. This is something that all professional teams in all regions now understand. Possession is a very big part of the game. Now, some teams are better than possession than others. Some teams don't understand why possession is important, so sometimes they do give it away. But normally the big counter to possession is, well, what if I have 0 boost? Well, if you have 0 boost, and say we're the blue player here, we can always use the other team's momentum against us, lose a 50 back to our teammate, and look at that, we're maintaining possession. So that's one idea of possession, but what if our teammate doesn't have boost? That means that they didn't take their time to grab pads while getting into position. There's so many pads on the field, you should always have at least 30 boost if you're rotating into position. So possession should always be accomplished. So there we go, we're going to be seeing how high-level teams accomplish possession. And then we're going to be looking at to make sure the 3 necessary areas of the field are always covered. Now, what are the 3 necessary areas of the field? Well, of course, 1 is the ball. Someone needs to be on the ball. Offense or defense, someone needs to be on the ball. The next part that needs to be covered is support. Support needs to be covered. And what is support? Support is covering your teammate close behind facing forward, or at least covering the 50 option and the pass option. And the way you cover these 2 options is by starting from behind, which allows us, since with our ball cam now we can see if the midfield's open. If the midfield is open, we can go mid for a pass. But if the pass isn't coming, or if the midfield's covered, then you can just stay behind. Or even if you went here initially for a pass, you can always rotate right back in behind if our teammate doesn't cover that. So that's how support's covered. At least the basic principle for support. And then off-ball pressure needs to be covered. And of course, if you've been on stream multiple times, I've explained why off-ball pressure is necessary. But what does not having off-ball pressure mean? Well, essentially it means you're rotating out instantly behind our teammates, right? Which means essentially we're only covering this part of the field. Another way of thinking about it is we're giving the other team over 2/3 of the field to do whatever they want. Now, would you guys want to give G2 Esports 2/3 of the field to do whatever they want? Probably not, right? Would you want to give a team like KCP 2/3 of the field to do whatever they want? No. Would you want to give a team like even BDS 2/3 of the field to do whatever they want? Especially World Championship champions BDS? You do not want to give them 2/3 of the field. Would you want to give just players like Daniel or First Killer or Jorias or Zen, any of these individuals 2/3 of the field to do whatever they want? Probably not, right? So that's why off-ball pressure becomes necessary. Because by applying off-ball pressure, even if we don't get the demos, let's say we get some boost steals. Boost stealing is applying off-ball pressure. Let's say we just drive through trying to apply off-ball pressure. It also becomes an idea of they have to try and avoid us. They don't have all the time in the world to think about what position they need to be. They need to think, okay, what position I need to go to and try to avoid the bump while staying in position, right? Essentially, we're not giving the other team time to think. We're not giving them free space. And on the defensive end of things, it also means watching the midfield, right? Or when we're rotating back, applying demos. We saw Dignitas on offense were really great at having ball guy, support guy, and off-ball pressure guy. But on defense, they tended to rush back in the net. They didn't have somebody applying off-ball pressure on the defensive end of things. So that's something that we're going to be looking at for G1 compared to NA's 5th seed. Let's see if they do that. But also making sure the offense is just as strong. And then I think that's pretty much everything on what everyone in chat needs to know, or everyone on YouTube, if you haven't heard this before, needs to know in order to know what we're analyzing. Like, what are we trying to look out for? While we're looking out for possession, make sure the team's maintaining possession. We're looking at to make sure there's always somebody on the ball, make sure someone's always supporting, and make sure somebody's always applying off-ball pressure. Now, like we said, support, you're close behind your teammate facing forward, because from here you can see the whole pitch. If the midfield's open, you can go over there for a pass. If not, you can always cover behind. You're covering both these options, which allows your third man to be the person to apply off-ball pressure. These 3 areas of the pitch are all necessary parts of high-level Rocket League. And if one of them, and if 2 of them are covered and not the other, then the rotation will not be optimal. Now, there is still a priority. Of course, ball guy's most important, support guy's next most important, and off-ball pressure is the 3rd most important. But they're all still 3 necessary. All this means is, of course, first of all, if no one's on the ball, challenge the ball. If someone's on the ball but no one's supporting, someone needs to fill in support. But if those are already covered, make sure if you're that 3rd man, you still need to make sure you don't have time to go boost. You still have to apply off-ball pressure. Unless, of course, stealing their boost is the off-ball pressure, of course. But there we go. I think we understand what we're going to be looking into. Let's look at Game 1 of Groups BDS versus G1. Let's see how well G1 do against the former world champions, or excuse me, the current reigning world champions. So we did notice, according to the stats, Atomic had issues with demos, and Atomic and Dorito both had issues with boost as well. Possession here from Atomic. Lose the 50 back. Alright. He leaves the play. It's not the end of the world, though. Marked by 8's first. Okay, so what is Atomic doing here? So Atomic just pushed all the way upfield to do nothing, really. So what we want to see here from Atomic is we want to see support for Marked by 8. So we're going to go to borderless here, 60 FPS. Oh, I'm dumb. I forgot to apply. There we go. So right here, if we go back to, so we go to this angle, for example, we have a really good idea of what's going on here. We have Markbite filling in second. We have Dorito filling in, so we have Ball Guy, we have a support guy. And Atomic, he was at 0 boost, so he ends up rotating out for a big boost, which is not the end of the world, but eventually he's going to fill in behind Marked by 8 here. Now, the ball will get hit across, or, excuse me, the ball will get hit to, the ball will get hit to Marked by 8, who will take it to the corner. He'll become the ball guy. Dorito will become the off-ball pressure guy as he rotates out. And then Atomic should fill in second for his team. So there we go. We'll have the ball guy, support guy, off-ball pressure. And of course, the off-ball pressure guy still needs someone to rotate after he applies off-ball pressure, which will be here in the third man, right behind his teammates. And if we look, that's what happens. Marked by 8 ends up reading where that ball's going to go. He's going to touch the ball here to the corner. But instead of letting Mark by 8 continue to do his job, Atomic cuts in, and that ends up making their whole team's rotation stagnant. If we look, they're both just kind of letting Monkey Moon jump. Now, luckily, he does have the great adaptive rotation here to cut right back in first, as Mark by 8 goes to fill in second. But, of course, this is nowhere near as optimal as some other rotations we've seen earlier this week. So for me, this might be just a misread on Mark by 8, but it's something we do have to look at. Then, here we go. See what happens here. Yeah, we're not seeing a lot of off-ball pressure from Atomic. Let's see how good he is at reading the play here, though. Again, he just takes the ball off his teammate. He's way too antsy. I mean, let's check, see if Dorito... Okay, Dorito did have 0 boost, so I'm gonna lay that off as a calm. But then he just gives away possession, so that's an issue. He flies for that one. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, we're definitely seeing Atomic likes to cut into rotation, but it's kind of also messing up the rotation. Although I do want to look at Mark by 8 here. What were you doing, little bro? What you doing? Okay, so right back here, he ends up hitting the ball forward. So now we have to decide who's filling in what. So Mark by 8, he has to recognize that Dorito is ball guy. Atomic is going to fill in second. So Mark by 8, he can go for the big boost here, just because he has a lot of time. But even though I have told you guys about off-ball pressure, we do have to remember that off-ball pressure can only be done if you're coming from in front of the ball or you're going in the direction of the flow of your team. If Mark by 8 goes from third man here, if he goes as third man to apply off-ball pressure in this direction, we've talked about it on multiple different streams, but what ends up happening is the opponent's flow is this way, our teammate's flow is this way, right? So if Mark by 8 goes for off-ball pressure in this direction, essentially what it means is, 1, it's easier for your opponents to avoid those demos since you're going in the same direction as them, but 2, you're also getting in your teammate's way. So essentially it's a 4-on-2 with personnel, and most likely that ball will pop out towards your defensive end, which is something you don't want. So I'm hoping Mark by 8 only goes to see if the boost is there and then rotates behind his teammates, right? And also another idea is Dorito, he's eventually going to lose that 50 back to Atomic, which Atomic will be ball guy and Dorito will be off-ball pressure guy fairly quickly here, right? So we need to make sure Mark by 8's behind his teammates to fill in that support role as soon as it needs to be. Let's see. He flips forward, and then he goes all the way to the corner boost. Look. And now he does eventually rotate out. So he kind of lucks out that BDS weren't able to have a really quick counter. But for example, if Dorito lost that, didn't try to maintain possession there, it would have been very difficult for his team to maintain pressure. Mark by 8 is going for a bump here. Leaves it. I want to see some possession here from Mark by 8. There we go. He messes up, but Dorito pops it up. Okay, that's fine. So far, it looks like the team overall understands there needs to be a ball guy, and they understand there needs to be a support player. But it seems like we're not seeing a lot of people applying off-ball pressure. Again, Atomic rotating straight out. So I do want to see Mark by 8 and Dorito in those situations. Let's look at the team stuff first. Because we have to narrow. Like, okay, here we go. So Mark by 8, he does apply off-ball pressure. So now let's look at Dorito. So whenever Dorito's in front of the ball, let's see what he does. The Dorito, he's going to fill in second behind Mark by 8 here. And then, okay, so, yeah. G1 don't have the cleanest rotations, and it can also explain their inconsistency. Ooh, my. How is this a goal? I think it's more Dorito kind of gives away the ball here. Because this should be a free possession every day of the week, and then he just... Yeah, we're seeing, like, possession. Like, the mechanics of G1 honestly aren't that solid. So, he is applying off-ball pressure. He's going for a demo. Let's see what he does on his rotation back. He's going to fill in ball game. Alright. Mark by 8. We're going to take that one. Some great off-ball pressure there from Dorito. So, I think it's more of an idea that Atomic actually is the one who just doesn't go for off-ball pressure, which is which is going to make the rotation not be as consistent, because it means whenever Atomic's in front of the ball, we're not getting any off-ball pressure on the opponents. And I also don't like how long Dorito's staying up on offense. There's not really a flow to the rotation for G1. That's the big issue I'm seeing right now with G1. There's not really a big flow to the rotation. Pass down. Let's see what Dorito does here. Fill in second behind Mark by 8. Yeah, it just doesn't look like I'm watching high-level Rocket League right here. It honestly looks like I'm watching some rank A gameplay. At least from North American standpoint. There's Mark by 8. Again, just failed possession after failed possession here in game 1. It's very interesting to see. It's hard also to tell like what is the biggest mistake. So I'm gonna try and write out just a couple things right now. Atomic does not go to apply off-ball pressure when in front of the ball. Rushes out and rotates back to get big boost. Another, aka big boost reliant. Dorito. It seems like Dorito and here's what I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch Mark by 8 now, because we saw Atomic and Dorito both. We saw Atomic and Dorito both kind of rush into positions when they shouldn't have. But one thing I will say, individually, all three players look to be reading the play really well. Like they know where the ball's going to go. Oh man. When I post the little summary on my tweet after the stream and I say, honestly, it looks like G1 have a lot of mechanical issues, but they're really good at adapting their play. People are gonna be like, wait, you're saying that these three players have mechanical issues? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, they kind of give away possession. Decent touch there from Mark by 8. Do, 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 do. Alright, he's gonna fill in support. Yeah, I think that's the one thing we can tell the difference of between Mark by 8 and Dorito and Atomic. Mark by 8, he doesn't rush into positions. He's actively reading the play. He knows where that ball is going to go. Now, he does misread the play a little bit here. He does, like right here, he doesn't see Monkey Moon, but still, he's reading the play far better than his teammates. And he's not rushing into positions. I think that's the one good thing we're noticing about Mark by 8. Now, he shouldn't have thrown himself at that ball, of course, but he's at least, for the most part, very aware of what he needs to do at any given moment. There he forces. He goes to apply off-ball pressure. See what he does here. Tries to pass it across. Alright, Mark by 8. So, kind of an unnecessary challenge there, but it does work out. Yeah, I think that's the one thing. So, I think we can write that down for both Atomic and Dorito. Tends to not fully read the play, which leads to him rushing into positions that are already covered by teammates. And this is the exact same problem that Atomic has been shown to have. And then Mark by 8, I still want to watch him. I want to see if there's any individual things we can pick up. It's the weird thing about G1, it kind of highlights their inconsistency, because there's been moments in this game where they've looked brilliant, and there's been moments in this game where they've looked like literal plats. So it's... Let's see how he is going to apply off-ball pressure here on the defense. But for me, it's kind of like three individuals are playing. It's not a team that's playing, or at least that's what's showing kind of to me. I'm just gonna look at the goals really quick just to see again. Our bait rotates out. Yeah, a cut from Atomic there, but it works out. Let's look at these couple saves again, just real quick. Pass across to Dorito. Touch, save, mark by 8, take possession. Yeah, there's kind of some... it just feels to me the mechanics of G1 aren't that good. Okay, yeah, it doesn't feel like they have the structure of high-level rotation down as well. We got a couple weaknesses that we can put for G1. The structure of rotations seems to not be fully understood. Players seem to be just doing what they individually want to do. The team is not playing as a team. In short, the team does not fully grasp the ideas of needing a ball guy, support guy, and off-ball pressure guy. Actually, no, they don't. I think that is not the idea of a necessary off-ball pressure guy. Alright, and for mark by 8, some easy missed first touch. Tends to miss some easy first touches mechanically. Whereas Dorito tends to not understand the necessity of possession. And Atomic is kind of the same way in that regard. We can actually add that onto. Add that onto the weakness of the team. The team as a whole is very bad at maintaining possession or knowing how important possession is. That's the first issue we're noticing here. Strengths, though. I didn't see a lot that looked good, if that makes sense. But what was making up for their... So, the individual ability to read the play and where the ball is going is very strong. That all three players understand needing ball guy and support guy to be filled in as quickly as possible. So this will be the first time we've done an analysis of a team where I think in order for us to fully understand their mistakes, we'll have to watch one more game. So we're going to look at a game where they won here. Let's look at game 4 in the group, in this group stage match. Let's see if we can fully flesh out any of these ideas. So for mark by 8, we have tends to miss some easy first touches. And then as a team, the structure of rotation seems not to be fully understood. Players seem to just be individually just doing what they individually want to do. The team is not playing as a team. In short, the team does not fully grasp the idea of a necessary off-ball pressure guy. The team as a whole is very bad at maintaining possession or knowing how important possession is. So for us, we're mainly looking at the possession and off-ball pressure guy as a team. And then individually, we're going to see if Atomic's thing was a one-time thing, but we did see both Dorito and Atomic cut into unnecessary plays. So let's see if that does end up happening again. Okay, Atomic again instantly rotates out, but it's kind of because Dorito is also rushing into position. Okay, but there we go. That's a good demo. That's a miss touch from G1 and BDS. Mark Bait trying to get the bump. Ball flicked up. Why was this so hard for G1 to defend? So G1 should be the guy watching middle here, but then he ends up rushing back, and now Mark by 8 needs to be the one watching middle. He kind of rushes back to net. Again, yeah, I think it's everywhere on the pitch. The team does not fully grasp the idea of a necessary alpha pressure guy on offense or defense. Alright, let's see how this one ends up going. Atomic, he's just kind of... Okay, there he's actually applying alpha pressure, but it's more because he rushed into position again. I think it's more showing us again the structure of rotation on G1 has a lot to work on. And I think this is like, it's honestly the first team, like, we've analyzed a SAM team, we've analyzed an OCE team, a MENA team, NA and EU. We've analyzed all 5 of the 6 regions so far. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if rotationally, G1 would be our worse than Gladiators. I wouldn't even be surprised. Now, I'm not saying they are. We haven't watched Gladiators yet, but how they're looking right now, it's the rotation. So I think, honestly, I have G1 looking very good against some teams, but I could honestly see G1 losing in a sweep to any of the teams in their group, at least with how they're playing. But of course, this is just the first set of replays we're looking at. We'll see how things change. Here we go. Doritos trying to maintain possession. Again, ooh, misread from Atomic. Is that maybe an issue of his? I thought they were all individually good at reading the play, but it might be Mark by 8. Oh, Mark by 8 also missed, actually. He's extra hitting that ball. That's just a miss. Mechanical play. Mechanical. I was really excited to look at G1 today, but oh my, this is just not good gameplay. And like, honestly, like, I don't know how BDS lose this, is my thing. I think BDS are tossing their games, because like, BDS are at least applying some pressure and getting some good shots on target, but like, I'm not seeing anything good from G1. Well, it looks like BDS are hitting just every crossbar. Maybe that's it. Well, I can definitely see why G1 might lose to some bad teams. Honestly, it's kind of throwing me for a loop, because their structure of rotation is not like, there's no foundation for their rotation or their concepts. All we're seeing is the players kind of just all turn towards the ball if they're near it, and then they get any kind of touch they can. Like, I'm not seeing any strategy. And they're giving away the ball too. Like, for me, the confusion is, how are they winning series? Like, how do they win this game? Now, it looks like it does go to overtime, but another mistouch, a double commit, a pre-flip unnecessarily. It's, I don't get it. This is probably like some of the worst gameplay I've ever seen. But Mark by 8 misses some first touches, rushes some challenges too early, giving opponents time to reset after beating him. Tends to not fully read the play. Atomic does not tends to not really read the play. And the individual is, I honestly have to remove this. I don't think they have anything. I think people understanding needing a ball guy and support guy to be filled in as quickly as possible. This is their only strength that I have. And then the cuts can be annoying to read for other teams. I think that's a strength we can put down for him. Um, 50 from Atomic. My question is, how does BDS lose this? I don't get it. I don't get how BDS loses this. Yeah, sorry everybody. I know I'm normally somebody who's trying to analyze what everyone's doing good, maybe finding a couple mistakes, but it just seems like the players are experienced, but it doesn't seem like they're actually doing it. Like, I'm trying to find the best way to describe why they're like able to be contenders in this match. I mean, for me, BDS have hit every crossbar for me. I guess we can put that as a strength. The team is very good at recognizing, as the passer, when to pass. Although we do have to put, as the receiver of a pass, does not know when the ball is not coming to him and when he should rotate behind the ball guy. I'm hoping this is just a one series replay thing, but like we've been talking about the entire week so far, we talk about how normally we're able to find the mistakes and issues in one replay, and then as a tournament goes on, the only mistakes that happen after that are just, they just become bigger. They become bigger issues because they get more nervous. And here we are, we're noticing a really good pass. So this is like one of their few strengths. They recognize they need a ball guy and a support guy, and then they recognize, and they also recognize as the passer when it is a good time to pass. But outside of that, we see the players boom the ball unnecessarily. We see them mess up easy mechanical touches. They seem to not understand the rotation. Yeah, another giveaway of the ball from Mark by 8 as well. It just seems like none of the players understand what's fundamentally important about high-level Rocket League. For me, it just looks like they're trying to play fast, and they're trying to cut in whenever they can. I mean, that's all I'm seeing. And I guess the randomness of their rotation is also something that's hard for a team to read, maybe, but, like, a good foundational team should win. I mean, like, we talk about how Liquid are inconsistent, but Liquid have a basic structure that, for the most time, they're following really well. That's why Liquid are beating them. Quadrant, honestly, it's going to be interesting looking at the Quadrant versus G1 match, because, I am not liking what I'm seeing from G1. And then what I don't understand is how BDS is losing to a team like G1. For me, I think BDS just can't hit their shots. BDS have hit like 7 crossbars in this game. BDS stats-wise are better than G1. BDS pressure-wise are better than G1. And yet, all they're doing is hitting crossbar and missing. It's like what BDS are doing to G1 right now in terms of hitting crossbars is what G2 are doing to BDS at the World Championship. It's been nothing but crossbars. I mean, good save there from Atomic, and it's just like, there's some good things there, but like I said, I think it's more like 3 individuals are playing as fast as possible, rather than a team is playing and trying to accomplish a goal. That's a horrible flick. But it does lose a 50 back to Dorito. Atomic trying to gives away possession again, and BDS just can't hit their shots. Like, this should be like 7-1 for BDS right now, and I think if it was last season, I think it would be 7-1. Yeah, I really don't get it right now. And my question is, how does a coach fix this? Or is it the coach's fault? Is it the player's fault? Like, the way with how the players are rotating, I can't tell. Like, normally, to me, it's something like oh, I can tell the player is just bad at this and the coach can fix it, or the coach just seems to not be able to fully understand maybe one part or the other. But like right now, I can't tell if it's the player or the coach's fault as to where all these issues are coming from. Because individually, all three players have a lot of individual issues. As a team, they don't understand some basic concepts. It seems like the only thing these players are working off of are, if there's a pass, go for it. Otherwise, hit the ball hard. And make sure that someone's always on the ball and someone's always available for a pass. I mean, that's what it looks like right now. People ask me why I would think like a team, like why EU as a region is very inconsistent. I mean, this is why. I mean, if we go to the if we go to another series here, and G1 just turned into the best team in the world, I'm gonna be so confused. But luckily, if they do turn into the best team in the world mechanically, I mean, all these issues rotationally are still gonna be here. It's very peculiar anyway. Yeah, it kind of just looks like I'm looking at like untrained rank A players in North America try to beat a solid higher level team. It's still possible, but okay, I don't know how that ends up being a goal. Let's look at this. Monkey Moon just gives away, so Seiko gets dunked out of nowhere for no reason. Monkey Moon misses the boost and gives the ball away. Okay. What is this gameplay? I don't get it. Okay. Well, I think we solidified the issues for G1, and there's a lot of them. We got Mark Pate tends to miss easy first touches mechanically, rushes some challenges too early, gives opponents time to reset, which gives opponents time to reset after beating him. Dorito tends to not fully read the play, which leads to him rushing into positions that are already covered by teammates. Tends to not understand the necessity of possession. And Atomic does not go to apply off-ball pressure, rushes out and rotates back to big boost after, aka he's big boost reliant, so boost is an issue. Off-ball pressure is an issue for Atomic. Tends to not fully read the play, so he doesn't read the play, that's an issue, which rushes into positions. And then tends to not understand the necessity of possession. Weaknesses, the structure seems to not be fully understood, seems to not be close to fully understood. They're not playing as a team. And then team doesn't fully grasp the idea of off-ball pressure on offense or defense. They don't understand that. AK does not understand the importance of a guideline class structure. Yeah, it's honestly I kind of feel bad because it's just like I don't like just talking trash about teams just to talk trash about teams, but like look at all these weaknesses. I mean, like the only team that has similar weaknesses are Crew Esports, but Crew Esports, they still have a structure. They're mainly Crew's Esports. Mainly Crew's Esports, actually, Crew's Esports weaknesses come from individual mistakes, which, as we can tell from G1, Crew, they still have a lot of individual mistakes, and they have the team mistake. So I think my prediction of Crew beating G1 is actually fairly accurate. Here's what we have here for predictions. So I have Crew going 3-1, and then 3-1. And I think right now, G1, I think giving them a game against FaZe is fine, since it's the first round. And then, but for example, I can see them getting swept by G2. I can see them getting swept by G2. And then, I think both teams will be nervous here, so I'll keep it at a game 5, but like, I'm trying to think of like what teams I think Crew that of G1 could actually beat. And it's literally Game and Gladiators. Like, I don't even know if I want to see Vitality now. But Vitality, maybe they were just maybe it's nerves being more of an issue. I don't know. Farah tends to be a very... I respect Farah a lot as a coach, so... Or a lot as a... Or I respect him a lot as a player. But, okay, so... Definitely... So, first two replays of G1, not the best, but we will look at them versus Vitality. Let's look at the 3-2. So, Game 4 versus Vitality. Let's look at that. Everyone, anyone new coming into the stream right now? Right now for G1, they are not looking good. Not like a good team, anyway. There we go. G1 versus Vitality. So let's look at the stats. Maybe the stats have improved somewhat. I'm kind of hoping here. Look at demos. Mark by and Atomic. Okay, so Atomic picked up on the off-ball pressure. So there we go. And Dorito is still positive. Okay, all three players are positive on the demo side of things, so there we go. That's what we want to see. And then, whereas Vitality, they're having a hard time avoiding demos, and they don't avoid, and they're not applying a lot of demos. So, honestly, it could be an idea here where Vitality or just don't go for alpha pressure at all, and maybe that could build some confidence for G1. Look at average boost here. Atomic's fixed a little bit more of his boost, but Dorito marked by 8 still really bad on the boost side of things. But looking at movement, average speed, yeah, very slow gameplay. Only Dorito seems to be moving fast here. So we said look at game 4. Maybe we'll see, maybe we'll finally see something that the team is good at, but if it's not in their structure, it just means they're very inconsistent. So let's see. Here we go. Maybe possession. Loses the 50 back. Possession from Dorito, hopefully. Off-ball pressure from Mark by 8. Like he's gonna cut. He was gonna cut in there. Good read. Alrighty, I'm liking this gameplay a little bit more than the first series. There we go. Ugh. Yeah. EU. Not looking like some good, we're not seeing some good high level Rocket League. I can't, like, when we looked at Team Liquid, we were seeing good high level Rocket League. I know when we look at Karma Core, we're going seeing good high level Rocket League, but right now, this is just not looking good. Dorito doesn't seem to read the play. And then he's not able to make the stop on defense either. Like, how are these teams that are looking so much better than G1 losing? Like, Support. What he does here. He just gives away the ball. Okay. Atomic gets dunked. Gets bumped by Mark by 8. There we go. Support. Somebody force. Okay, he jumped a little too early there, but it works out. Teammate gets demoed. Bad at avoiding demos. Mark by 8. Try and take possession. Great save from Radosin. Dorito going for a useless challenge. It's... I don't know. It just seems like individually they are not as good as as everyone else. But yet, they're still able to win games. You make me seem like I'm a bad coach, but if I'm being honest here, I think if we were to analyze Vitality, we'd be seeing just as many mistakes. This might be an E-user region. Mark's movement is so efficient. Huh? Alright, so he just goes to watch mid. He gets in... He goes to get the block. He gets the touch. Yeah, I mean, yeah, in regards to his movement's efficient, but in terms of his decision-making, the decision-making's horrible. And I think that's the main thing. Individually, I think, like, but even then, we're seeing so many bad first touches. That is a horrible touch from Mark by 8. He ends up getting beat here. Atomic has to get the save. I guess that's the one good thing we could say for Atomic, is he's pretty good on the goal line at reading where the ball's gonna go. Yeah, like for me, Drew, welcome to the chat, by the way. How you doing? But for me, looking at G1, like what I'm seeing bad decision after bad decision, and I'm just seeing no concept. I'm not seeing any structure. I'm not seeing any concepts being done by G1 to help them win. For me, it feels like it's 3 individuals playing as fast as they possibly can, and even then, the 3 individuals are still not that good. The only thing that's really working out for them is the weird cuts confuse the other team, and they're also going super fast. But outside of that, there's nothing really working. Compared to me, at least, yeah. Because right now, G1 are looking... G1 are definitely looking like the worst team we've seen so far in terms of this analysis. So they end up getting a beat here. Back over to Mark by 8. He does actually get a 50 here, but that's a giveaway of possession at the end of the day. Challenge from Atomic, but it was a useless challenge. Here we go, and a giveaway of possession again. Okay, turn to fill in. Somebody, they're both going. Okay, that's fine. Cut from Mark by 8. Alright, yeah, welcome, Arkanator. Yeah, there's a... Well, okay, so don't get me wrong. This is... So, we will look at other pro teams, and we are not seeing these issues. This, for me, is looking like rank A North American gameplay. And even then, looks less mechanical somehow than rank A North American gameplay. The only thing I'm seeing here that they're doing really... Like, just to give you guys an idea of how hard it is, I'm trying to find their strengths. Here are the only strengths. Watch some of the other ones. Yeah, thank you, bro. The other teams are looking good, but look at this. The only strengths I'm able to find for this team is all 3 players understand someone needs to go for the ball and someone needs to support, which is something that all teams, like anybody, logically understands. We need a ball guy, we need a support guy. And they're trying to fill it in as fast as possible. The cuts that they do are annoying for the other teams to read, so I guess that's a strength. And then the team is really good at recognizing as the passer when to pass. But if we're looking at their weaknesses, this seems like there is no structure. They do not understand the importance of a structure. The players seem to not be just to be doing what they individually want to do. They're not playing as a team. In short, the team does not fully grasp the idea of a necessary off-ball pressure guy on offense or defense. The team as a whole is very bad at maintaining possession or knowing how important possession is. And as the receiver of the pass, they do not know when to leave if the ball... They do not recognize if a pass is not coming to them, right? So don't get me wrong, they're really good as the passer at making passes, but the receiver, if the pass doesn't come to him, doesn't know what to do. Yeah, SSL solo 3s is definitely a really good analogy on this one. Like, trust me, I don't like just berating teams to berate teams, but if I can't find anything, I'm not seeing anything good. I'm just seeing a mistake, every mistake after mistake. How do Vitality lose this series is my question. Although I'm sure when we look at Vitality, we'll probably see similar issues. But everyone, just to give you some context here, I have not had a hard time finding a strength for a team. Like, I looked at OCE, Sam, and Mina, and I didn't have any hard time finding strengths for those teams. And they're called minor region teams. But like right here, I'm not seeing anything. Let's see. Dorito. Like, I'm seeing speed. I'm seeing speed. And I guess we could say, here we go. Something that they do, well, even though they don't keep possession, they make it awkward for the other team. So, the touches they do get are awkward for the opponents to read. Like that, like you can see, I'm grasping at straws here when it comes to their possession. I mean, EU does only have like 2 top teams, and the rest are, I wouldn't even say average, homie. But I do agree. Right now, we looked at Team Liquid earlier, and of course, Common Core are considered one of the best in the world. We know both of those teams are solid. But then, of course, G1 are the 5th seed, but the drop-off is insane. We're going from G1 as the 5th seed to Liquid as the 2nd seed. The drop-off is insane. And why are you jumping that early? No shot, they get a 0-second goal. Oh my. Okay, never mind. I'm looking at Vitality here just for 1 second. We're gonna analyze them another day, but like, how? How is this a goal? Okay, he cuts in front of his teammate to grab boost. He just booms the ball to the side. That's fine. He can try and maintain possession here. He ends up getting beat. Sizen and Radosin both double commit. No one saw. Radosin misses it. Alpha 54 misses it. What? How are you missing? Whatever. Like, I know the players must be nervous and all, but you're pro. You should not be missing balls like that. Alright. Well, Vitality, we're going to be analyzing them another day. But, on to the next one. We're going to be looking at G1 versus Liquid. Let's look at a game they won. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to look at Game 5, G1 versus Liquid. Looks like my GC2 lobbies. Trust me, if I looked at your GC2 lobbies, it would be even worse. But if I was gonna go into hyperbole, you know, I would agree with you. Like, I know there's not a lot of weaknesses. I know there's a lot of weaknesses we're seeing with G1, but these are technically against pro level teams. But even then, it's just it feels like every other team is throwing rather than G1 earning these wins. EU inconsistency at its finest. Maybe the stats are better here? I'm just hoping. Come on, give me some better stats. Come on. Patao with demos. Mark by 8 does have some demo, but he's getting demoed more. We look at... You know what? We should look at demos. Okay, so Mark by... Look at this. They're all getting demoed. Way more than they're getting demos. And they're still not getting any demos for 2 of them. I know mine would be worse, but a pro, I feel like that can't be missed. Yeah. What you should say is it looks like your GC2 lobbies, but at the end of the day, we have to acknowledge that it's not. They would still demolish in a GC2 lobby, but oh my. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. You know, maybe it's unlucky. We've been starting at Mark by 8 all this time. Let's start on someone else. Maybe G1 need someone else's luck here. Oh my, that's a misread and a half. Oh, I actually remember looking at this game. We actually looked at this game from Team Liquid's perspective. They ended up... Oh my, look at that shot there from Acronic. Really solid read there. Alright, let's see what Atomic does here. Atomic goes to the corner. Back over now. Mark by 8. He ends up trying to maintain possession. He ends up getting dusted. Now, I do remember G1 actually do have a really good goal. I mean, like, G1 have some good goals. Like, when they actually do make a pass and they actually do make a shot, it's good. So I guess that's a strength that we could put down. So overall, their biggest strength is when they do create an opportunity, they seldom miss. As you can see, guys, I'm trying to find strengths. I'm trying here. Trying to find some strength. So they do end up getting to this one, but of course, ball back up. Atomic does avoid the demo. That's already one of the few demos we're going to see him avoid. Fills in first. Rushes back to net. No one's watching mid. Mark by 8 does actually get a couple challenges. I guess there's something else we could say for them as well. When they do hit their challenges, they are always good challenges. They are strong challenges. But of course, that's when they do it. At the end of the day, they keep missing their challenges, they can't see it. Watching the Watching these analysis streams sure is helping me understand the vertical stacking rotation. The other day I was struggling with the concept of it. Yeah. I mean, all vertical stacking is supporting behind your teammate at the end of the day. The adaptive rotation just tells us how to fill it in a little bit quicker, right? Or a little bit more efficient. We just have to make sure there's always a ball guy, always a support guy, and always an off-ball pressure guy. Now, the one thing we're seeing here is G1, they try to have a ball guy and off-ball pressure guy, but the ball guy gives away the ball. And then, I mean, excuse me, they have a ball guy and a support guy, but the ball guy always gives away the ball, so the support guy is kind of useless. And then the off-ball pressure guy only sometimes, like we see sometimes, they go, like they go for off-ball pressure. Sometimes we do see them go for off-ball pressure, but it's more individual. Like sometimes Mark White leaves the rotation when it's unnecessary. You get the challenge there. And like to me it's also like how to Liquid end up losing multiple games in this series. That's also something. Because even though Liquid are consistent enough to where they're winning their series, they're not showing us consistency to the point where like they are dominant in a series they should be dominant in. Like for example, if G1 were online, or playing in an online regional against a top NA team, I honestly would think FaZe would probably 4-0 this team. I think G2 would 4-0 this team, 4-1 this team. Gen G would definitely demolish this team. Yeah, like as long as the team has a high floor, like Falcons would never lose to G1. Like Falcons is a team with some of the best structure in Rocket League. G2 is also a team with some of the best structure in Rocket League, but Falcons have a structure that really emphasizes individual skill, and it doesn't do anything risky. Falcons don't take risk at all, and they have a really insane structure. So like Falcons would never lose to a team like G1, and I would claim that if Falcons ever play G1, Falcons would not lose. And if G2 are on a North American land and individually are feeling at least decent, they would never lose to G1 as well. And honestly, even on EU land, I still think G2 would win. So that's why I feel bad for the coach, unless it's the coach's fault, but like it seems like there's no structure. It seems like the individuals aren't as good as the rest of the pros in the scene. And then they made, like, I'm gonna call it now. G1 aren't making the spring major. I'm gonna call it now. Unless they improve a lot. And trust me, if they do improve a lot, they fix the majority of their mistakes, by all means, I will completely say I was wrong. They made the spring major, great job. But with Zen coming into Vitality next split, Carmine Core aren't gonna fall off. They got a Tachi, Vatira, and Exotic, all three of them really great. Yeah, Liquid looking like they're improving their structure week by week. And then, so like that's, like, Carmine Core, they're not going to fall off. Liquid aren't going to fall off. Unless they have a really bad major for some reason. Which they would have to lose the Gladiators for that to be a bad region. Bad tournament. Yeah, Carmine Core, Liquid, Vitality was Zen, and then Carmine Core, Liquid, Vitality was Zen. That's 3 teams, right? Yeah. Who are the other 2 teams going again? I'm blanking. Carmine Core, Liquid, Vitality, G1, and I'm completely blanking. Okay, what team am I missing? Vitality, Carmine Core, G1, Liquid, and oh, Oxygen. Okay. So yeah, Europe right now, their top teams are probably just Oxygen, Liquid, and Carmine Core. Like, those are their only good teams, I think, at the moment. Because Vitality, right now anyway, they're inconsistent. But with Zen, I think it'll fix. So like, I think next split we'll have a top 4. And then EU will just be scrambling to see who can fill in, essentially, the bad spot. The horrible team spot. Yeah, as I'm looking at more and more of this gameplay, I'm thinking G1 are not even going to take more than one game off a team. But I'll keep it at game 5 here. Well, that's it from them. Now, I will re-look at these goals since I was talking a little bit. But how'd they end up getting a goal here? Atomic bangs the ball down the pitch. I mean, yeah, when they actually do get passes off, they're good. So I think that's one thing. When they actually do get passes, the passes are good. But the thing is, they rarely actually get good passing opportunities. And they're just kind of stuck on defense. I'd say it's also Liquid's fault. Liquid just should have been able to score some shots. So maybe if G2 hit all the crossbars like they sometimes do on LAN, maybe they lose to G1. Because that's the only games that we're seeing G1 win in EU. But we gotta look at the tiebreaker. Oh, the tiebreaker. Oh, boy. I don't even think it'll be worth looking at German Amigos, if I'm being completely honest with y'all. So, here we go. We'll look at one of these games. We'll look at... We'll look at game 3, and then we'll look at the final game. Game 6. Game 3 and 6, that's what we'll look at. Yeah, sorry everybody, I'm trying to do my best to analyze pro gameplay, but I'm not seeing any pros. Well, let's see how the stats go in this one. We all know how it goes. Demos taken. Oh! Okay, in this series, the demos are good. So I think the thing is, when G1 are playing against a team whose demos are actually good, if G1 are playing a team whose demos are actually good, G1 are horrible at demos. But if G1 are playing against a team that are bad at demos, they're great at demos. I think that just shows even more inconsistency, but also shows individually. It shows the more individual side of things for the team. Since there's no structure, if they're playing against a team with structure, their demos are bad. But if they're playing against a team without as much structure, or maybe if they do have a structure, they're just bad at demos, maybe already go. That's what it is. Who does Zen replace is the question. I honestly haven't watched Zen play threes, but if Zen is anything like Daniel, he'll probably replace the more third man role in Vitality, which I think is covered by Sizen. So I think it's Sizen that might be covered, but I'm not sure. Average boost. Again, marked by 8. Everyone always talks about EU being better at maintaining their boost levels, but like, we're seeing all of these EU teams go back for big boosts, even though Johnny Boy claimed that EU teams don't do that. But at the same time, their mini-pad count isn't even that high. I mean, look at these mini-pad counts. Like, we've seen even OCE teams with 80, 90 mini-pads. I mean, that just goes to show. Speed, Dorito, Atomic, marked by 8. Yeah, just Quadrant just aren't looking good in this series. I guess that's what it was. Yeah, it's kind of sad to see. I mean, like, EU, I'm normally saying, like, all the top 5 regions are able to win a major, all the top teams and all the top regions are able to win a major, but we'll start on Dorito here. We haven't watched Dorito in a while. Maybe he can make me happy after all this time. Like, for me, I guess for me, the reason why it annoys me, it doesn't look professional. Like, EU gameplay doesn't look like professional, you're working hard every day gameplay. It looks like we're kind of just playing the game, and how is that call in? What the heck? Is that just a misread from Atomic? A huge misread from Atomic. What are you doing, little bro? You see Cash, air on the ball, you see, like, you just facing the play doing nothing the whole time. I don't get it. And remember, everybody, I'm looking to see how the team handles possession, and I'm looking to see how the team handles the 3 necessary areas of the pitch. But I have not seen, but throughout all these replays, we have not seen really one instance where they're trying to maintain possession. We see sometimes they have the ball and have free space and they keep it, but once someone challenges them, they just boom the ball. The only thing they have down is passing. So I guess we could say their good part about possession is their passes. But even then, the receiver of the pass doesn't know where to go afterwards. And in regards to covering the 3 necessary areas of the pitch, they are not covering them in any optimal fashion. And to be honest, sometimes it looks like they don't have a structure at all. And for those of you who say that EU tend to have less structure, they're more free-flowy. If we look at, I'm telling you, we look at Carmine Core or Team Liquid, you will see a structure. You will see optimal gameplay. But yeah, like, if I showed y'all a rank A, if I showed you guys a rank A 6-mans, you guys would probably say that they look very similar. Actually, you know what? That's what we should do. We should look at a rank A and a 6-mans. Here we go. Atomic threw the ball here. Like, the only thing we could probably say that they have better is that these teams are used to playing professional. They're used to playing at higher speeds. But even though they're used to it, it doesn't mean that they're actually playing really well. That's the one difference we'd probably see between a rank A lobby and something like this. That's a miss. And now they're both filling in second. He's going to rush back for a big boost that's not there. He's not going to get the ball at all. See, like, they're able to maintain their momentum the entire time. So I guess individually, we can put another, we found another strength, I guess. Individually, they can maintain their momentum. I guess. Trust me, what's it called? When I have to because what's it called? Normally I just put the notes down I'm thinking at the moment, and then after the stream, I clean up the notes just a little bit, but like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, for me, my power rankings right now have G1 at 15. How's this in? Oh. Let's look. Oh, okay, just a bad kickoff. That's fine. I mean, it's just a bad kickoff, but Johnny Boy would have a field day with that kickoff. Right to Cash. Yeah, I think what I'm going to end up having to put down in the notes is they are inconsistent mechanically. They are inconsistent they're inconsistent positionally with reading the play. And they do not have a structure or a concept of rotation. Or at least the only structure / concept they have is someone needs to be on the ball, someone needs to be supporting. Yeah. That's a giveaway. Like, for me, it looks like I'm watching EU gameplay in RLCS. That's what it looks like. Oh, boy. Yeah, sorry, everybody. I mean, I know I've been complaining a lot about EU game, but I'm not going to be a coach that just sits here and is like, oh, well, you know, they're hitting the ball sometimes. Great job. I mean, like, if they're constantly making mistakes, I'm going to call the team out. I mean, G1 are constantly doing mistake after mistake after mistake, and I'm just not seeing good gameplay. How do they get this goal? Ball over, and it's a free net. Okay. Okay. Look at this final game. Let's be done with watching the EU's 5th seed. Okay, guys, so I know I wasn't sure about Dignitas being able to beat more than a couple teams, but, like, I think we're adding another one to that list. I think Dignitas can beat this team. Like, Dignitas also don't have a good understanding of defensive off-ball pressure, but, like, they have everything else for the most part. Bro, missed the big boost. Like, I miss a big boost, but I'm rank B. I want to know who the highest teams I can beat. Maybe rank A on some of my old teams. I'm not pro, though. Mark Bates pro. How you missing? How is this a goal? Oh, boy. Like, you're probably wondering, like, okay, well, the team's nervous, right? So since they're nervous, they're not going to play as well. True. But we saw Dignitas, where if they lost the Game 5 against Space Station, they would have been out. They wouldn't have made the major. Space Station, V1, or Optic would have made the major at that point. But they were able to win that Game 5. They actually had... Now, don't get me wrong. Daniel did miss a free double tap and hit for his standards, but a majority of that game was still solid gameplay. We saw possession. We saw good mechanics. I think this goes to further show that your weaknesses only get larger. And we haven't seen any new mistakes getting added on to here throughout here from G1. I think with time, I was able to give you guys a better understanding of what their strengths were. But if it's hard for a coach to recognize the strengths of a team, it normally means that the weaknesses are just insane. And don't get me wrong, I'm finding a lot of weaknesses. How was that a goal as well? Like, they just scored on twice right off the bat. Like, they should be losing this game. Great pass, though. I mean, like, it's a miss from an opponent. Okay, now let's look at this goal. Mark by 8, just... What? Okay. I'm just gonna move forward here. I want to be done with watching G1 at this point. I just don't want to watch any more G1 gameplay. Oh, he's not gonna be in Rush Hour 3. And if you get that reference, you're a legend. Out the backboard, support from Dorito. He ends up missing that one. How do we go from Quadrant looking okay and winning 3-0 to G1 winning? And let me guess, the other team starts throwing. Now, G1 step up, and they actually earn this win. Great job. But, like, they're not doing anything that would show us anything else. Head up again. How's that a goal? Okay, Dorito actually had some mix. Or say the fire burns. I forgot. I don't want to change any of this. We're going to make predictions after we're done analyzing all these teams. From the ashes, feel it. First and the fire burns. Here we go. I feel like this is just going to be a bad YouTube video once I post it up. All right, you know what? I think we're gonna skip to these goals. How do they get? Everyone's missing. That's how that goes in. And how does this goal go in? Back over a miss. Cash is last. Oh. One save apparently. Comic sticking gives away. Huh? Oh, they're Okay. Alright. But I did say we would look at one replay of a rank A NA team just to compare. I want to see. S5 Cosmic. He's rank A in North America. If he has any 6-man replays. Let's see this. See how this gameplay looks. Gonna get beat there. He goes for it, so there we go. He's applying off-ball pressure. Could have been a little closer there. Here we go. He reads that play almost perfectly. Now what does he do on his rotation out? He has 0 boost, so he rotates out. That's fine. I mean, look at this. I mean, at least all the players here in this lobby are trying to... Well, Salado gives away possession there, so that's bad. At the end of the day, it's not anything different than what we're seeing from the G1 gameplay. Cosmic's taking possession. Just feel it. First and the fire burns. By the way, anyone who's coming into the stream, we just finished looking at G1, and I made the claim that they look like a rank A and A lobby. This is a rank A North American lobby. We're watching the perspective of S5 Cosmic. And we're pretty much seeing the same stuff. The only player who's... we're seeing a couple players maintain possession, which is better than some of the G1 gameplay. But everyone else is just giving away the ball, just like G1 is. But actually, something about this lobby is the players are actually somewhat supporting each other. They understand off-ball pressure for somewhat. So, S5 Cosmic, you'll be happy to know you are better than G1. Let's look at another player here in this lobby. Let's look at Eris. He's rank X, I believe. He's supporting Cosmic from behind. He's not rushing into the play. He's taking possession here. Look, this is something we didn't see from anyone on G1, or honestly any of G1's opponents outside Liquid. Possession. That's the one thing you'll notice, is that I think EU teams, when the teams do actually understand possession and get a structure, since they're already super fast and good at passing, they just like become insane at the game. But if the teams don't understand any structure or anything like that, like, it shows how inconsistent the bubble scene is. Excuse me, the not top teams in EU are. Because honestly, I'm looking at this gameplay and like, I don't like Eris going for this ball, but like, here we go, Cosmic taking possession. He only goes for a beat because he can maintain possession. We're seeing support here. We're not seeing anyone throw themselves out of the play. We're seeing off-ball pressure on offense and defense. We're seeing the active reading of the play. So, those of y'all in NA that are sad that it's taking so long to get to the top, well, keep raising your floor and you'll be a top team. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think that we're done with watching replays for today. And looking at this, a lot of weaknesses. Atomic does not apply off-ball pressure when in front of the ball, rushes out. Rotates back to get big boost, aka is big boost reliant. Tends to not fully read the play, which isn't rush into positions. Anxiety or nervousness really affects the mechanics and rushed positioning of players. This is compared to even regions like OCE and SAM, so it's just like, ugh. Anyone who thinks that any EU team can come over and just do insane, you are false. If G1 came over, they would have to change a lot. What is happening? Oh. Okay, so there we go. There's where we see the rank A-ness in this replay. But okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, showing up. I think tomorrow we'll go over the 4th seed for EU. Hey, it looks like someone got banned. Someone was saying a bunch of slurs in chat and twos yesterday. So I'm glad they got banned. We do not accept that. Not at all. But thank you, everybody who showed up to the stream. It's been a pleasure, of course. And I hope you guys all have a great night ahead of y'all. Thank you, Arkanator. Thank you, Deluxe Drew, for showing up. It's been a pleasure. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your night. Peace.